Today we are talking about the best documentaries, or our favorite documentaries. Maybe not the best, but maybe our favorite documentaries are the best. But I have a documentary team I work with. We have a production company. I have a crew of amazing filmmakers that I'm surrounded with here at this very office. There's Michael Del Monte. He's an award-winning documentary filmmaker. His films have gone on Netflix. You can see his posters. He's won the Hot Docs Film Festival, which is the biggest documentary festival in the world, or one of them. We got Lewis Gordon. He helped give his choices for his favorite documentaries of all time. He's an incredible editor and cinematographer, and you're going to see him making some of the best documentaries in the world one day very soon. And of course, our office producer, Kim, she's awesome. She didn't actually give us her opinion. Maybe I'll text her right now and ask her what her favorite documentary is. So I know this list isn't going to be complete, but it is what has influenced us as filmmakers. It's our favorite documentaries. I think these are some of the best documentaries of all time. So I want to get you into that. But first, before I show you these, you may want to watch a video I did where I explain the different genres of documentary. This will help you understand some of the films we've watched, or maybe you want to watch that after, but very educational stuff. So let's get to this list. But just before we do that, I want to mention today's sponsor, and that's none other than Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions, literally millions, come together to take the next step in their creative journey. I know I've been taking huge steps in my creative journey since I've joined Skillshare. They have lots of different topics. One of my favorite ones is the productivity courses that they have. They've been really helping me be more productive. And also big shout out to my man, Christopher Rhodes. He has an awesome course on Skillshare about shooting with a low budget. Chris is one of my favorite guys, online content creators, YouTube's directors. He's awesome. My man, I love your work. Love you, Chris. But check out Skillshare. It's only $10 a month. And right now I'm giving away 2 months free for the first 1,000 people who click the link below. That is in the comments and in the description. Make sure to check that out. Big shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Definitely go check them out. But without further ado, let's get to the best documentaries of all time, or really just our favorite documentaries. But I like to think that they're some of the best. So first off is one of my favorite documentaries. I saw this in film school. I've gone back and watched it again. It's a highly influential film for me, and that is Hoop Dreams. Actually, me, Mike, and Lewis all agreed that this is one of the best documentaries of all time. Two basketball players, Arthur Agee and William Gates. It's an incredible film for many reasons. One, you really get to know the characters and their families, and family is often what shapes who we are, and I really like that about Hoop Dreams. It's not only about basketball, but it's about these people's life experiences, about the communities and the families they grew up in, and how that shapes who they become. It follows these guys trying to get into the NBA. And the director, Steve James, spent years working on this film. That's why I have to kind of tip my hat. It's back here. I'll tip my hat to Steve James. He did an incredible job working years and years and years tirelessly on this film. It's from 1994, so it has that certain kind of vintage vibe to it, but it's still very applicable for today for all the right reasons, because it is such an incredible film. It's a good testament of what it means to work on a project for many years and why it pays off. My second film, and this is one of my favorite films, we also all agreed about this. This is one of the best documentaries we think of all time by one of my favorite directors, and that is Grizzly Man by Werner Herzog. This is an incredible film. It's very entertaining. If this film didn't come out, you would not have Tiger King. I'm just gonna say that. This film kind of set the platform for those films that are about interesting people with animals who live crazy lives. If you've seen Tiger King and you enjoyed that, you're gonna love Grizzly Man. An incredible film, and why it's actually such a good film too is Werner Herzog was showing what happened, and that can kind of be boring retelling something that happened, but he has this incredible way where he inserts himself into the community where an event happened, and his presence in the film isn't overpowering. I really like the director Michael Moore, but sometimes I find his presence in films overpowering. It's almost too much about him. It feels a bit forced. But Werner Herzog, he interviews people on camera, he walks with them. He's really incredible at this, and he did an exceptional job in Grizzly Man, towing that line between being a character in a film and being the director. I love it. Love Grizzly Man. If there's one film in this list you're gonna watch, probably should be Grizzly Man. Next up, this is a powerful film, and this is the verite style of filmmaking. Again, I mentioned that video where I go through all the different styles of filmmaking, and I actually just did one recently where I talk about the different styles of interviews, which is also useful. I love talking about documentaries on here. This is the channel you wanna be on. Make sure to hit subscribe. You don't have to like the video. If you want to like the video, you can. YouTubers are always asking for likes. It's their way that they survive. It's the air they breathe. But I don't care if you like this video, but if you want to subscribe to this channel, that means a lot to me because I'm always talking about documentaries, filmmaking, lighting, cameras, everything. But anyways, back to the film that I was talking about. Hale County This Morning, This Evening, and it is directed by Ramel Ross. And this film is about the Black community in Hale County, Alabama. Now, this film is non-traditional. It feels very unscripted. Some people might argue that this is less a traditional documentary, and I would agree, but this thing won, I think, like Sundance and a whole bunch of film festivals. I really like this film because we felt like we lived a moment in this community. Highly recommend it. It's the verite style filmmaking, which is kind of just letting everything unfold in front of you. And it's a great example of when this is executed well, it's very powerful. So definitely go check out this film. My next film is also kind of a verite style film, but maybe a bit more structure, some more interviews, and that's Overnighters by Jesse Moss. I've spoke about this film before on this channel. This is definitely in my top 3 favorite documentaries of all time. Jesse Moss killed it. Again, this is a testament to a filmmaker who spent a long time in a community, immersed himself with these people. It's about a pastor who's trying to help all these people who are flooding into his town to work in the oil fields. And what I love about this is it's working through that idea of how to love your neighbor, the greatest commandment. And what's so interesting is this pastor is trying to help these people coming into his town. And it's in fact the churchgoers and the religious people who get really upset. Anyways, it's very pharisaical. Go look up that term. But I love this film. It has a twist ending. I don't want to give away too much. Probably gave away too much already. But Jesse Moss did an incredible job. Go watch this film. I keep telling you to go watch these films, but you really should be writing them down. If you want to know anything about good documentaries, watch these films. Next up is your classic underdog documentary. It's called Undefeated. It was directed by TJ Martin and Daniel Lindsay. It's about Manassas, I think. I haven't seen the film for a while. I think it's Manassas High School in northern Memphis. I have some family out in Memphis. Shout out to the Woo Cashes. But this film is your classic underdog story. It follows a high school that barely has won any football before, and this coach who really believes in his students, in his players. It's a great film. They really show the true character of the people in the town, players on the team, and the coaching staff. Now, I have to warn you, I haven't seen it for a long time, so I'm a bit hazy on all of it, but I know that Lewis and Mike both speak highly of this film. Another quick mention, Cartel Land, directed by Matthew Heineman. Great film. This is about the cartel down in Mexico. Again, another director who shot the film and who immersed himself into communities and followed characters. You kind of see a theme in these documentaries. You really have to immerse yourself. You really have to be passionate about the people you're filming, about the subject you're filming, and you really have to spend a lot of time for the film to be good. And this is for feature-length documentaries. Obviously, short-length documentaries don't need to take too long. My film Rescate, shot that in 2 weeks. Even No Country is an Island, we shot that in 10 days. It's a short documentary. Sometimes if you're telling a shorter story, it doesn't take as long. But when you really get to immerse yourself, you're gonna find there's scenes and there's moments that you could never script, that you could never plan happening. You gotta spend the time, you gotta put the work in. Another quick mention for films I love, Last Man in Aleppo. This is directed by Fayad. I hope I pronounced that right. Fayad or Faid. Great film. This is about the white helmets that are working in Syria during what's still going on, the Syrian civil war. And this is a powerful film for me. One of the reasons why I chose it is you can see that the filmmaker really put his life on the line to create this. And it was a difficult subject to work through, and it was a difficult way to create a narrative because it was just a lot of destruction, but they did a really amazing job humanizing the people in the story. Regardless of your perspective on war or on who is right in war, this shows you the people who are trying to do something right and are trying to help those caught up in such a chaotic, confusing place. Really enjoyed this film. Check it out. I think it's on Netflix, at least in Canada it is. Another great documentary film from 2003 is Capturing the Friedmans. This was directed by Andrew Jarecki. Great film. This is about a family caught up in a court case. I don't want to give away too much. You really should watch it. If you have any issues with people talking about, rape or any of that stuff, it's probably not the best film for you to watch, but it's a really well captured film, well told story, and kind of gets into the mind of a family that conspires together. And lastly, the last films I want to mention, man, there's so many films I couldn't mention, but this video would have been 6 hours long. These films I had to add to this list because they are some of the most impactful films for me, and one of the reasons why I even got into filmmaking is Koyaanisqatsi and Baraka. And now why I'm naming both of those is Koyaanisqatsi was shot by Don Fricke, but he actually went on to direct Baraka. And Baraka is like the quintessential film student film that we love. It's not done like a film student film, but it is like the film that we all wanted to shoot when we were film students because it's about life. As simply put, it's about life. It's a great example, again, of kind of a verite style film, but a film with a much looser narrative, I'll say. It's difficult to kind of grab on to main characters, but when you have the cinematography that Ron Fricke has with all the time lapses and all these beautiful shots in these cities from around the world, man, you will be captivated. He is the ultimate travel video shooter. If you watch Baraka, you will think that all these travel videos that you see on YouTube are garbage, and they are compared to his work. It's incredible. We'll go watch that. Koyaanisqatsi 2 is also in the 70s. It was presented by Francis Ford Coppola, directed by Godfrey Reggio, I think. Man, I'm butchering everyone's names. I read them, I don't hear them. But great film. Koyaanisqatsi is probably one of my favorite films of all time. I'll put it in my top 10 easily, even across dramatic films. Just, it's a film about life. I can't explain these last two films besides saying go watch them. Turn your phone off, don't be distracted, but just watch these films. They're amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are what we think some of the best documentaries of all time. Comment down below with your favorite documentaries. I love when you guys let me know films that you've enjoyed. You guys are always opening me up to stuff that I haven't seen or reminding me certain films that I haven't seen. Also too, an honorable mention that I couldn't add to this list because I actually personally haven't seen it, but I know Michael and Lewis both loved it, which is Searching for Sugar Man. This gets an honorable mention too, not only because I've heard it's an incredible documentary, but it got $10 million at the box office, which for a documentary, that's huge. That's like the Avengers getting like $6 trillion at the box office. Documentaries don't typically make that much money at the box office, so that's incredible. Great film. From what I understand. I can't say that it's good film. I was about to say great film like I'd seen it, but I know everyone loves it who has seen it. But anyways, I will see you guys on the next video. I'm getting a warning right now from my camera saying this battery is not safe. That's because I use third-party batteries. Is it still rolling? Knock off batteries. Save the day. Sony, lower the price on your batteries, please, because none of us want to pay that much. But I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one. I'm gonna go pretend to play hockey. I don't play hockey. I just jog and throw a frisbee. I don't even throw a frisbee. I was gonna say I throw a frisbee. Anyways, gotta go. See you guys.